work I'm doing out here right now is the most exciting thing that I can imagine doing with my life. We're bringing back the health of the environment, the animals, and creating a healthy food for people to eat. Traditional farming, as it's practiced here, is 1 year of corn and then the next year of soybeans. And it's a highly mechanized, highly chemical dependent form of agriculture. And really the only people who make any money off of it are Monsanto and ADM and John Deere and Cargill and the big beef processors and the trucking companies. The farmers aren't really making any money.
You couldn't get any better, but I wasn't making any money. It just didn't make sense. I mean, I was doing everything right, but was not making any money.
They spend so much on fuel and fertilizer and everything else that by the time they get to the end of the year, if they weren't receiving a check from the government, they wouldn't be able to make ends meet. You know, if you asked any farmer out here, they'd tell their son not to go into the business.
The big farmers took over the small farmers. They rooted the small farmers out, big corporates. When I was growing up, we raised all of our food.
We had to raise everything, basically, that we ate. The kids had to gather the eggs every evening, bring them in, wash them up.
And that was the job, cleaning chicken eggs.
When I was a kid, we'd get on the bike and ride around the corner to the neighbors.
And we loved it. You had neighbors. If you got sick, they'd come in and help you farm, plow, whatever. You know, that's all gone.
Yeah.
You don't have the family farm anymore.
Every guy's out there for his own self, doing his own thing.
Kids that growed up as me, there's very few left around here. You know, they've had to go out in the big places to get jobs. There's no jobs around here.
Once your local infrastructure breaks down and you lose that, it's hard to get it back. It's hard to get it back because as this stuff leaves, the animals that leave, then your feed stores leave, then the small packing plants leave, then there's nothing left. It's hard to get all that back.
I started to realize that there were serious questions about the way we practice agriculture in the United States today.
I think it was in the late 50s they came out with anhydrous. Well, when they did that, and you shoot that in the ground, that kills your worms and your bugs. But you could see year after year, you wouldn't have the birds following you like they used to, and there wouldn't be as many night crawlers and all that, It just kills the ground.
The landscape around here has changed. There's not the hedgerows that we used to have, or the fence rows.
There's nothing to stop the wind or the erosion. And I can remember there used to be gobs of pheasants and quail. Well, they're all gone. There's no coverage for them.
Something's got to change. God gave us this earth to take care of. Well, it's being abused, and it's getting so abused. Before long, there's stuff that's not even going to grow out here on this land.
The ground is dead. It's just like when somebody's brain dead and they got you on the machine.
Life support.
It's the same way at the ground. They're just filling it full of chemical.
My dream is really to change agriculture in the United States the way it's practiced today. I think that unless we do that, we're in serious trouble. What we're trying to do is create a model that's both ecologically and economically sound. We're in a position to have a meaningful impact on the discussion about sustainable agriculture. The system in our country is completely broken. To accommodate an industrial model of meat production, the way we raise beef in this country shifted to corn-fed beef. The cattle industry began to move their cows into feedlots in the closer and closer confined quarters. A system developed whereby we grow corn in the field, truck it to a feedlot, and feed it to a cow to finish it out. It was a model that suited industrial purposes better than having all these little individual farmers out producing cows on grass. Before that, all the beef that we ate was raised on grass. Grass-fed beef contains higher concentrations of all the things that are good for us.
The animals are so much healthier. They're out there, they're eating grass and sunshine. I mean, it just is no comparison.
In raising our cows, we use no antibiotics, steroids, or growth hormones. There's no genetically modified products that go into our animals. Everything is just what's available to them in nature.
They love it. I mean, you watch the animals, they love it out there in pasture.
And they spend their whole life right out here in these fields. What we're doing with this model is trying to combine the best elements of the old style of farming with the best elements of the new technologies that are available to us to do things that were impossible, basically, to do 50 years ago.
There's an awakening happening here in the United States. I think the pendulum is coming back this way. People want to know where their foods come from.
There's a project that lets us do that. It'll create a market for our local farmers, help them start thinking creatively about other ways that they can use their land.
Now I'm planting trees back and putting fences back in. In one generation's time, that's how things have changed.
It will help educate people about the importance of making the connection between our food and where it comes from so that we can help the next generation, not only for their own personal health, but for sustainability of the earth. You can make a difference. You can have an impact on the next generation.
I hope to lead the way by providing a model of an alternative, of a grass-based, sustainable, organic agriculture, which will be good for our environment, good for the animals, good for our people, good for the community, good for everything. I can't imagine that there's anything in my life that I'd rather be doing than carrying on the legacy of 100 years of my family and having a dramatic impact on agriculture in general in the United States. There's a future here.